In this video, I'm going to talk about APA formatted figures in APA 7th edition. What you're essentially going to do is first put the figure into your paper, okay, whatever it is you're writing. In this case, I'm going to actually wrap it tighter so it gives me a little more option. Okay. Now, there are some differences from APA 6 if you're used to using APA 6, one being that we put the figure number at the beginning. We're going to type at the beginning figure and then whatever figure number it is. And the numbering of the figure, sorry, no period there, the numbering of the figure does not relate to the numbering of the table. So if I've just had, I wouldn't put figure 5 because you had table 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth thing was a figure. I would put, if this was my very first figure in the paper, regardless of how many tables, I would put figure 1. And this is probably going to be all here most often, like in Times New Roman 12. So I'll go ahead and put it that way so it looks like it's supposed to. Now, once I have that figure 1 written there, the figure 1 text is going to be bolded. Okay, not italicized, just bolded, and then underneath it, and we would typically be double spacing, so I'm going to go ahead and set that up here. Double space. Okay, so after figure 1, it double spaces me down, not bold, just, however, italicize, in this case, a title for my figure, okay? Model for multiple regression. Okay, whatever I want to call it. Notice that is in title's case here, so it's written like the title of a book, italicized, and again, this up here is bold. And then I'm going to, underneath it, write a caption explaining more about my figure, okay? So I'm going to come down, and what you want to have is you want to have a little bit of space, like about a line's worth of space before and after the figure. And I'm going to start off with writing note, and you'll notice that that's italicized with a period after it. Then I unitalicized to write a description of what you're seeing there. Okay, this is a model of a multiple regression with 2 interval ratio covariates and a binary or dichotomous, something with 2 categorical and a variable. Okay. And so I just write a description of that underneath, okay? And what you want to again make sure it's positioned so it looks like about a line's worth of space before and after it so you can look at it clearly. You want to make sure that everything about the figure is clear and explainable. Anything I need to explain about this, I explain here in the note so people can read it and they can understand what's going on with the particular figure. You want to make sure your X and Y axes are labeled. Here you see I've just labeled it covariate A, covariate B, and the outcome. I haven't given a name, but I have not put any label on the difference between these two planes. So I really ought to do that. I ought to add in something here. Maybe this is males and females, and in which case I need to add that into the figure here so that it makes sense. If you need a key, you need to add in a key. If there's something to be explained in it, you want to make sure that it's fully understandable. You want to have any font that's within the figure to be very simple and easy to read. You notice here that this font here isn't necessarily Times New Roman, and that's fine. It just needs to be a font that is legible and simple. Okay, and that there's some kind of numbering here on these axes. You see I do not have it on the vertical axis, and I should. I should have it everywhere. Just make sure everything is clear. Make sure that you understand when something's a table and one's a figure. Essentially, you know, a table has columns and rows in it of some sort, And a figure is pretty much anything else. So if it doesn't meet the criteria of looking like a table, then it's a figure. It could be a picture, could be a graph, could be quite a lot of some kind of a model illustrated with various shapes and arrows between, showing relationships among things. So there's a lot of ways that a figure might look. But this is the basic of how it looks. I do have down in the notes to the show notes for this particular video, I have a link to APA's principles, and I have a link to some samples, examples that you can look at as further examples by APA.